right, let's circle back to our breaking news story. As we told you, the National Director of Public Prosecutions has provisionally withdrawn charges against Lieutenant General Dumisani Khumalo, Brigadier Dineo Mukwele, and others. NPA Spokesperson Kaizer Kganyago joins us live now. Good evening to you, Mr. Kganyago, and hopefully it's a better line now. But what about the representations made by the lawyers of the accused led to this decision, if at all?
Thank you very much, Bongiwe, and to the viewers. Let me take the viewers backwards. On the 10th of July, when we were introducing where the people can find the IDEC judge, Advocate Mothibi at the time announced that he is going to review all the matters that are dealt with by IDEC in relation to crime intelligence, and the review started at that point. Then along the way, the lawyers of the accused then sent representation to the NPA, directly to the NDPP, and they were also considered. Therefore, both processes were happening at the same time, and all of that led to this withdrawal of this matters, because in terms of the Section 1795, the NDPP that used his powers, supervisory powers, to make sure that he can review this, which is something that happens all the time. And then he has found, among other things, that the investigations were not finalized by that's what IDEC has indicated to him, among other things, but also the issues that were raised by the lawyers of the accused people.
So was IDEC able to say, how did it take a matter that was not finalized to court? Have they said that?
Those are some of the things that we will deal with internally, because we needed to finalize these reviews and as quickly as possible, because of the impact that it has on the matters that were already on the roll. Therefore, those are the issues. Today we went to meet with IDEC staff to just reassure them and make sure that those that are doing what is supposed to be done correctly will continue to do the work. But we also have to get to the bottom of really what happened, and that will be done in the days coming.
All right. So I just want to, I'm going to circle back to something that you said in just a moment, but a statement has come through from Brigadier Dineo Mukwele's lawyers. In part, it says, we note with considerable disappointment the NDPP's assertion that the investigations remain incomplete and that the withdrawal is therefore merely provisional. That contention is difficult to reconcile with what has consistently been common cause between the parties, namely that the investigations were completed. At face value, this appears to be a belated attempt to preserve a position that has become increasingly difficult to sustain. Whether this is an effort to salvage what is otherwise an untenable position on the part of IDEC and the NPA remains to be seen, but the assertion is neither supported by the known facts nor consistent with the history of this matter. How do you respond to that?
No, I think the interpretation is very wrong. You see, you need to understand that the representations were done, and because of those representations, the NDPP was able to withdraw the charges. And if they have also read number 5 of the letter that was sent to them, it is very clear to say, if the IDEC are saying to him that they are still finalizing the investigation, you can't now say, don't investigate. Therefore, if they come up with anything, number 5 of the letter is very clear that to avoid doubt, the matter may not be enrolled. The instruction shouldn't be enrolled, nor any fresh decision to prosecute taken without the express written approval of the NDPP, which basically says that this matter is withdrawn. If they come up with new evidence, they still have to come back to the NDPP and present to him. They are not just going to willy-nilly go ahead and do it. Therefore, I don't understand why they will take a posture like that. Because as far as we are concerned, the matter is withdrawn until or unless there is any new evidence to that effect. That still has to be taken to the NDPP for approval.
I suppose maybe perhaps one could say it's what we've been watching in the Madlanga Commission. For example, the IDEC story has grown legs daily. And we're hearing what, a lot is coming out around this particular investigation. For example, the Dalla Omar Institute says in a statement reacting to the developments around Advocate Andrea Johnson that when it comes to the work of the NPA, the work of IDEC rather, this has become something more than a governance issue. And it says, this is not an abstract governance concern. The integrity and effectiveness of the National Prosecuting Authority are central to the rule of law, the fight against corruption and public confidence in the criminal justice system. And that, I suppose, given what people have been saying about this story and what we get to hear, investigations not complete, senior investigators who seemingly did not even cross the I's and dot the T's, it is concerning how an institution of this nature and this stature can get this case, or any case for that matter, so wrong.
Yeah, no, it's very true. But as I say, those are the things that were considered by the NDPP when he took that decision. And that is why he has given a clear instruction to say, based on all of these things that are happening, including what is happening at Madlanga, I'm withdrawing these charges against these people. And if anybody wants to re-enroll them, they must come back to me and prove to me why they need to re-enroll them. And that for me is a clear indication that says we are not re-enrolling this thing until there is a different view that might convince me differently.
I know you say that the NDPP speaks about the reviewing of all matters relating to crime intelligence, right? But given what we're hearing, is that how far he's going to go, or is he going to go into other matters as well to see if there are no loopholes there as well? Because a lot of concern has now been raised just about this institution alone.
Not necessarily go to them, but if there are representations that are done, because this issue that is happening now is not something new or something that is specifically meant for this particular case. It is also available for anybody, and it's something that happens all the time. If other people write representations to us, you'll have to look at them and make a decision around them. And also, people need to understand that it doesn't mean that when you have sent something for a review, you are always going to get an answer that is similar to this one. A review is exactly that. You review the facts that are before you, and sometimes you even get external people to assist with this review so that you come to a conclusion. But this is something that will happen as and when representation come our way. We receive so many representations on a daily basis, and a matter like this happens. It's just that because this one is high profile, we are able to deal with it the way that we are dealing with.
I know that of course, when one looks at this particular story, there's a lot of legs as far as this IDEC story is concerned. But there is, concern around this institution. And I remember when your principal briefed, he was talking about, credibility of this institution and that South Africans must continue to trust it because there's still many people who are working there who are quite committed. But with each passing day, there's a lot of concern. There's still quite a lot of concern when it comes to the developments in the Madlanga Commission. Perhaps we speak about the credibility issues now that are being raised around this institution.
No, definitely. There are obviously credibility issues that have been raised, and we accept that. But at the same time, we are saying we cannot throw the bathwater with the baby, because there are people who are doing a lot of good work. Therefore, we are going to get to the bottom of what really happened and what are the issues that we can change to make sure that things are done in a proper manner, in a systemic, the systems are put in place so that we continue with the IDEC that is serving the public of South Africa. The one thing that we know, and we have addressed the staff this afternoon, the NDPP addressed the staff there, the IDEC, to say, IDEC is a necessary organization. All that we need to do is to make sure that we do things in according to the systems and we follow the law when we do our work, rather than the things that we are hearing at Madlanga at the present moment.
All right, so let's see then what happens with regards to the developments of this particular story, because there's still so many legs as far as this is concerned, and as we're still going to be hearing there from, IDEC throughout the possibly the course of the week on what would have happened with this investigation. Appreciate your time. Thank you for speaking to us. NPA spokesperson, Mr. Kaizer Kganyago, they're speaking to us about the NPA withdrawing pressing those corruption charges against Crime Intelligence Head, that's Lieutenant General Dumisani Khumalo, and others.